Hi, good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. The subject that comes up from time to time because it involves us is in a letter that has been sent to me on that subject. So I'll just tell you that this is about the vasectomy reversal, and it gives me a chance to give you an update on the situation for Beth and I at the same time as giving a response to this subscriber, who we'll call, let me see, what shall I call him? Mr. C. As he actually got in touch with me on email, so it is possible that he won't want everything to be public. If he was in comments, then I would just use his first name. But anyway, here we go. It says, "Hi Terence, how are you? It's been a while since I last contacted you. You may recall I had been considering a vasectomy reversal. However, although I had a conversation with Dr. Lucia is the surgeon who did my reversal, I have not yet undergone the medical procedure. I have been interested, or rather curious, to know how you have fared since your own reversal. Have you had any positive results in surgery? I understand that not all reversals are without complications or are simply downright unsuccessful. I'm somewhat skeptical about the outcome of this procedure, especially owing to the period of time elapsed since my own vasectomy in 2009. I'd be pleased to hear how you have been getting on, and any further advice would be most welcome." So, there's other stuff in the letter, but I shan't bother to read that. So what's the score on, as far as I know? Okay, I can only give you, I'm not giving you statistical information. I'm giving you personal accounts of the experience that I've had so far. So the reversal was with Dr. Dennis Lucia in Manila, and it was counted as a success. Now, bearing in mind that I'm 79 years old and that I may have various conditions which, while not being medical conditions, in other words, giving me pain and problems, might possibly affect the outcome of sex and trying to have a child. So we left it for a year, and we tried for a year. Now, I think that probably our methodology may have been outdated. We had a lot of very clued up, what were obviously very clued up couples getting in touch with us, telling us how they'd done it. In fact, one even had problems ejaculating in his wife, and so they had actually injected the sperm themselves. I'm not quite sure of the details of how that was achieved, but they achieved a pregnancy, so must have been pretty successful however they did it. Well, for Beth and I, we have so far not conceived a child. Now, we decided then that after having waited for so long, Beth is 29 and she's already getting antsy about the age thing, not mine apparently. Now, that made us decide to go to a clinic and seek help on in vitro. Now, we talked on other videos about the ups and downs of the in vitro, how it works for some and it doesn't work for others. We had one letter that was sent to me. He said that when he went to seek advice for having in vitro, they had taken a sample of his sperm, and that they had told him, well, there are several different things that are wrong. The sperm was not perfect. Okay, so let's just talk in percentages, without going into whether the tail was pointing this way or whether it couldn't swim north or whatever. It wasn't getting there and wasn't going to get there according to the clinic, and so they gave up on that. It was either 12 off 6 years later. I've blanked a little on that, and I can never find these relevant emails. But anyway, let's call it 12, because it came as quite a shock. They gave up on having a child and said, well, that's apparently how it is. And yes, you guessed it, because of my terrible timing. They have a child, and they have a lovely child, which they conceived naturally. So who knows? Who knows how the cards may fall? It really is a mystery. Some friends of mine in the UK, which I always pull out this example, they gave up trying to have a child, went for in vitro, had 3 procedures, failed, gave up on that too, adopted a little girl. Within a very short time of adopting that little girl, they didn't have just one child, they went on to have 4 children conceived normally. So who knows? You just don't know. We had one couple who said that they'd tried for, I think it was 6 years. Maybe the numbers that I'm giving may help people to realize that I'm talking about them. And they tried for 6 years, were unable to do it. They went for in vitro, one pop, and that was it. They got a lovely kid. So what can you learn from all of this? The main lesson to learn is that no one size fits all. It's a favourite expression of mine because it's so relevant to the human condition. You really don't know whether what is happening for one will happen for the other. For instance, my belief was, based on my experience with my friends in the UK, that the chances were that if we just went for the in vitro and took their advice, which we're doing right now, and which is part of the information that I should be giving to my friend, the Aussie who wrote this last letter, they found things that were not perfect with my sperm. Beth is okay. She, if she had a younger man who was in good condition, she probably would be pregnant by now. All right, well, that's the way that it goes, isn't it? But for me, they said that what they would try to do is put me onto a program for 3 months in which I would drastically alter my lifestyle. So now I have finally realized, and you might take this into consideration, Mr. Aussie, you might take this into consideration. We are on quite a battery of what can I tell you, vitamins and supplements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that I'm taking. But of late I've seen, and I wanted to do a video on this lady, and that is Dr. Farah, who has been curing cancer. And one of the things that she has especially had success with is prostate, which I have been advised by the clinic that we're going to go and have ultrasound on the prostate. I'm really looking forward to that. So there's a lot of things that they're variables, and they could go any which way. We may well go, and even with my sperm that's less than Arnold Schwarzenegger-ish in muscularity or whatever, however you would talk about these little spermatoses, little swimmers that they are. I have no idea what will happen, and we don't know what will happen. We're keeping all other options open. Now, if you should decide that you're not going to have the vasectomy, then I can promise you one thing, and this is not anecdotal, this is 99.9% certain. You will not conceive a child. Okay? So there we are on that. It's one of those things that there was a man who could once jump 7 feet. He never did. And because he didn't, then he failed. Because he didn't do it. So, as I see it, you have no choice but to do it, unless you go for a different option. Now, the reason that we went for the vasectomy reversal first was that I thought that we could probably do it naturally, okay, through having a natural married life. Well, that didn't happen. But now we can go on to the next step, which is in vitro. And if that doesn't happen, then we'll go on to whatever the next step is on that. And we will eventually have a child. It depends on what you decide you want your options to be and in what order they're going to fall. For me, reversal meant a possible natural conception. Going on to in vitro means a definite chance for me to be the father. So there's all kinds of different things, and my only advice to anybody is, if you really want something to happen, then go for it all out. Don't hold back. People are incredibly good, and I count myself in the years that I've been alive as being one of them. They're in good at not trying, just in case they might fail. So I just won't try so hard, and I can always say, well, I didn't really try that hard, you know. So I didn't really fail, did I? Yes, you did. Yes, I did. You need to go, and without reserve, without even thinking about it, without holding back, go and do it now. That's what I would say. Do it now, and then do your time waiting for 6 weeks before you can even touch your wife and even hold anything heavier than a cell phone. Do it. That's what I tell people who are on the cusp of wanting to do anything. You might remember a video that I did very recently, certainly in the last week, and it was from someone who wanted, it was a great dream of hers to be a writer, and she saw something. She saw the Valentine card, which was a short story that I wrote and which I narrated very recently on Valentine's Day. Gosh, I wonder if you could have guessed that by yourself. Well, anyway, when she saw that, as is a lot of cases, she wanted to realize her dream. So she asked me, did I have any tips? The most important tip was the one that she didn't take up, and that was to join a writers group. Now, in joining a writers group, unless you want to go and join and then never go again, you've actually got to obey the rules. So with a writers group, what they say is bring a couple of 2 or 3 sheets of foolscap along with you with something that you've written on it. And then you narrate it in front of a friendly, supportive group of people who all have the same possibly unrealized dream as you to write. And the reason that she said she wasn't going to do that was because she's, I think she was 65 or something. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. I was 74 when I went to my, 73 or 74, when I went to my first writers group. Nobody said, oh, for God's sake, well, how old are you? 74? Get the hell out of here. Nobody said that. Nobody embarrassed me. Everybody was very nice to me. Everybody knew how I felt. Everybody knew that I was nervous about giving my first narration of my stories. They will be for you. and the child that you want to have is waiting for you to take action. That child cannot cross a bridge that you refuse to build. Just remember that. So, if there is anything that you want to know about my experience, there's not really much to tell. We paid the money, we went down there, we went to, well, up there, we went to Manila, we went in. I was not sedated. I had an extremely, if anything, a comfortable time. Never felt a thing. I wasn't embarrassed. I was treated so very, very politely and civilly and respectfully. And the wife of Dr. Lusaya sat with me the entire time. And what I had was, I had a screen in front of me so I couldn't see anything. Well, I wouldn't want to watch anyway, for heaven's sake. What's the matter with you? So go ahead and do it. I can only say, take your chances. Take your chances and do it. What else can you do? One thing you are sure of if you quit, and that is failure. The thing that you may well achieve if you try is success. So, go for it, Aussie. Go for it. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Another late night thing. No, not really. It's 8:22. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If it is you know someone who is on the cusp or dithering on the doorstep of wanting to do anything, give them this video. Bye for now.